I got a long one for you guys. It's been quite a few years since this happened, and I don't think our community will ever recover. I'm a police officer in Mission County. I get a report about a missing 7-year-old girl. Me and another officer from the station got sent out to the residence. The family lived in a small community just outside the county seat's town limits. There were some very nice houses here, upper middle class. Apparently, she had been playing with her friend all day and never returned home. The parents were visibly upset when we showed up, telling us that we only had so much time and that we had to find her that night. The girl's father, whose name is Travis, seemed very unsatisfied with us, but we had a protocol to follow. We get all of the descriptions of the daughter and her friend she was with on the day that she went missing. Her name is Katie, 7 years old, dark brown hair, was wearing a yellow Hello Kitty shirt with blue jeans. She had a Pokemon backpack and she was with her friend named Jade. Knowing how hard this situation must be for them, I reassure them that we will do our best and she will most likely turn up. It was still early in the day, so we continued our investigation and stopped by the friend's house. The parents were unaware of their daughter's friend going missing. I asked if we could talk to their daughter. They seemed hesitant at first, but politely agreed. The daughter does not recall anything at first, but soon exclaimed that a man in a truck pulled up to talk with them. I asked who this man was and what the conversation was about. She says that the man had long black greasy hair and asked if the girls liked video games. Said that they both responded with yes and that the man smiled and drove off. Was that all he did? He didn't just get out of the truck? No sir, he just left. I asked about the truck. She described it more as a Ford Bronco than a pickup truck. The dad chimed in almost immediately after hearing this. I think I know that vehicle. Always parked out in front of an Arby's in town. I ask him if he knows the owner. No, I've just seen it around before. It might not even be it, but I thought I would tell you in case it helped. I tell him that it does help. After a quick chit-chat about how horrible it must be for her parents to get through that, we continue back to the station to go over the notes that we had. I am preparing for more investigation the next day. The next day I get some information from the other officer working the case. Got some information on the Bronco the kids saw the other day. Shows me the registration for a 1988 brown Ford Bronco. You sure this is it, bud? Oh yeah. Got reports about this creep driving around, harassing people. The registration is to a Thomas McKinley. We decide that we should go pay him a visit today. After doing some paperwork and having a lunch, we went out to the address, registered to the vehicle. It's this run-down mobile home with junk piled up in front of it. It had a porch built off the front with even more junk. These people are obviously hoarders. Lo and behold, there is the brown Bronco. Alright, let's go knock on this door. We make our way through the maze of garbage to the door. We give the usual, very loud and obnoxious police knock. A woman answers the door. Can I help you, officers? Yes, we're looking for the owner of that SUV out there, a Mr. Thomas McKinley. She says it's her husband and that he is in the living room. She invites us in. The house is filled with junk. We get to the living room, and there is an old man sitting in a lazy boy. Tom, these police officers want to talk with you. Visibly, this guy was not how the girl described the driver. Are you the owner of the Ford Bronco parked outside? Yes, it's mine, but I never drive it anymore since disability got the best of me. I tell him that we've gotten reports that somebody has been driving around in that truck harassing people. He looks at the floor and sighs. That's probably Caleb. He calls for him to come out of his room. He is a tall young man with long greasy black hair and very pale skin. I immediately give my partner a look like that is him. I ask him if he's been harassing people in his father's truck. He breaks down and starts crying. I have no friends. I just want friends. People think I'm stupid. He starts wailing and freaking out. His mother calms him down. Caleb is autistic and doesn't really fully comprehend what he is doing. I immediately think that this guy might not have the mentality to pull off a kidnapping. I ask him about the 2 little girls he stopped to talk to the other day. He tells us he stopped because the one girl had a Pokemon backpack and his favorite Pokemon is Fennekin. Alright, this guy clearly could not have kidnapped the girl. I tell him that we're going to have to interview him a little bit more, but since he is clearly unstable and overwhelmed, we will come back tomorrow. We did not have anything on the kid, and we were lucky enough to even be invited into the house. We decide to wrap it out, collect our notes, and head back. We get a call later that night from the mother that somebody is outside threatening to kill her son. I get my partner, and we head out to the property. We show up, and to my surprise, it's Katie's dad Travis, outside, screaming at the family in the house. I know that stupid motherfucker did something to her. Tell me where she is. He was in a serious rage. He would not even stop after he saw us pull up. Hey, what's going on, bud? Talk to me. What are you doing here? He is visibly pissed off and starts directing his anger towards me. You stupid cocksuckers are doing the worst job ever. I tell him that we are doing our best to find her and that she will most likely turn up soon. Yeah, in a damn body bag. That's what you want, isn't it? I'm not going to lie. He was getting to me. I continue trying to calm him down until he eventually does. He starts talking more rationally about how this is the hardest thing he's ever gone through. I tell him I could not even imagine what it is like, but that he should not have come here. I tell him I'm going to let him off with a warning, but if he comes back again, I will get him for trespassing and threatening assault. He still seems angry about the whole thing, but he reluctantly agrees, gets in his truck, and drives off. I go and tell the family that the guy has left. The old man opens the door and is clearly pissed off at what happened. What the hell was that about? My son never did anything. Can't you see how terrified he is? The young man was clearly shaken up and was clinging to his mother in fear. I felt bad for the guy, knowing he's not all there. I tell him it won't happen again, and if it does, he will be escorted to the police station. The man seems somewhat more calm. I tell them all to have a good night and to call if anything happens again. I am finally off work after that. I have another night of no sleep. I get up the next day, same routine. No leads, no tips, nothing. Just patrol the streets and hope that something comes up. A few days go by. Nothing from Katie's parents and nothing from the McKinleys. I think maybe that the family is starting to come to terms with it. A few more days pass by before I get a call from the McKinleys. Please, you have to help. Caleb has disappeared. My first thought was that Katie's dad had done something. Oh God, I hope he didn't do what I think he did. I tell them that I will be right there. I hang up the phone. This is stressing me out so much. I make it out to the house, and Caleb's mother tells me that he has been gone for days. The Bronco is still there, his phone is still there, so he must not be that far, I thought. I tell her I'll go look for him. He must have walked the old county road into town. I drive down the old highway for a couple of miles before reaching a small pull-off that used to be a logging road. There is a pickup truck a little down the overgrown road. I decide to check it out. I park the cruiser at the beginning of the road and start walking towards the truck. Hey, I know this truck. It's Travis. I peer into the truck windows and see a wallet on the dash, sunglasses, and a sweatshirt. I look out into the woods and shout for Travis. Hello? Travis? You out there, bud? Nothing. I knew I should have looked into it more, but my shift was almost over. When I eventually returned to the area, the truck was still there. Nothing had changed. I checked out the woods and found a set of car keys hanging from a tree branch. Still no sign of Travis or Caleb. Fuck. I hope he didn't kill the kid and then kill himself. I heard nothing from either family for weeks. Nothing happened at all. Until, by pure luck or pure chance, I had no idea how we could get so lucky. We got a call about a domestic dispute. It was one of the neighbors in the little community outside town. The woman was frantic and was exclaiming that she had killed her. I show up, and a woman had beat her husband to near death with a baseball bat. He was definitely knocked out and bleeding badly, but he was not dead. I never saw something so gruesome in my life. But what we found inside the house was absolute horror. The man who owned the house was a small business owner. I had known him as the kind old man that ran an electric shop in the downtown area. When we calmed the woman down, she started shouting in a hysterical fashion. I had no idea. Please believe me. I initially was confused until I heard my partner call out to me. "Holy shit, Danny, get your ass in here. You are not going to believe this." I rush over to where my partner was, standing just in front of an open door that led down into a basement. He shone his flashlight, illuminating the darkness, and there she was, Katie, curled up in a little ball in the corner with two of her kids, another girl and another boy. Feel absolutely horrified by the discovery. We got them out of there as quickly as we could. They all looked malnourished and had visible welts and marks on their bodies. Jesus Christ, Scotty, this is horrible. After interviewing his wife, we discovered that he had just recently gotten married, and that she had no idea what he was doing since they also just recently moved in together. He had hoped that she would be his partner in crime, but soon became mistaken after he showed her his torture chamber. That's when she panicked and attacked him, fearing that he would hurt her. When I asked what he had the children for, she responded, "I have no idea." We never got an answer from Mr. Henry either, since he died on arrival at the hospital. We told Katie's mom we found her after getting her out of the house. She was there in less than 5 minutes, completely awestruck that her daughter, who had been missing for over a month, was finally found. I had never seen someone cry tears of joy so hard. She had lost her daughter, then lost her husband. I could only imagine the relief she felt, having her daughter in her arms again. She asked me about Travis and if we knew anything about him. I just shook my head. I could not even tell her that what we assumed he had done and what happened. I was disgusted with the entire situation, but relieved that it was finally over. I see Katie and her mom from time to time, mostly at the park while I am patrolling. She eventually remarried and seems very happy with her life, but I know none of us will ever recover from what happened. I have not thought about that in years. It still makes me feel uneasy knowing that you never really truly know somebody. Travis and Caleb never turned up, and I think that's for the best. I was 14 years old when this happened and living in Australia. My friends and I have this camping spot on the outskirts of town, through a chain link fence that we made a hole in, and through wild long grass. I head out to meet some friends at the one friend's house. My friend's mom said that they just left. No worries, I will head over to the camp. I crawl through the fence. I'm walking through the tall grass. I hear my friends yell in the distance, coming from the opposite direction of the camp. I start walking through the grass where we had not made a path from months of use. I got this uneasy feeling, as if I made a mistake. I can't quite explain the feeling, just dread. I say, nah, screw this. I turn around and start walking back to the camp. This sense of dread feeling just grows inside of me. I hear my friends again, in a way where I could recognize their voices, but not really make out the words, if you know what I mean. I stop to listen. I realize it was the exact same sound twice in a row, my friend yelling and the other one laughing, like it was a recording. I nope the hell out of there entirely to take a break from this messed up feeling of imminent danger. My friends suddenly come walking down the street. They were at the shops buying snacks for our camp. Those assholes were not even out there. We spend the night at a friend's house instead. I'm 29 now, by the way, and this was just before it was common for teenagers to have mobiles or cell phones, etc. I never understood quite what the hell happened out there. I was never a ghost-believing kid. I certainly wasn't a nervous kid. We don't really come that way in Australia, especially 15 years ago, but I still get the chills down my spine thinking about that, and I think of it quite often. I can never shake the feeling I was somehow being lured somewhere. I could not even imagine by what, and I've never had a similar incident since. Upon reflection, I should mention just how isolated this area was. It was about a 6-minute walk away from the road, straight out through the long grass, into the woods outside of town to get to the spot that I was in, and about 2 to 3 minutes from the end of the tall grass to get to the camp spot itself. It was on a nice cliff face, overlooking a place called Wallachia Valley. Great spot. The direction of our shops and where the voice had come from was the exact opposite direction, and the voices came from a westerly direction where the camp was east. I thought about how they could have possibly pranked me, but we didn't do pranks anyway, and no one ever copped to having somehow done it. The town I am from could be freaky sometimes, being new land and isolated, etc., but that incident was just in a league of its own. Hey, hope you've enjoyed the story so far. If you want to hear more, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment because it lets YouTube know you like the content and helps more people to see these videos. My next big goal for the channel is 100,000 subscribers, and as a celebration, I will be doing a Q&A video once we hit that goal. Thank you, and back to the stories. I was 22 years old when this one happened to me. I am convinced that there is no God, no afterlife, nothing beyond the realm that we perceive. I meet this girl. She is actually really cool, a really down-to-earth human. I start spending time at her apartment. I start sleeping at said apartment. We sleep together. I wake up one night, feeling powerless to move. I have this immediate and primal terrified feeling. I realize I'm not dreaming. I am 100% in her room. I look up. There is this entity floating up above me. It's this black, formless creature with red eyes. It has this long tongue and sharp teeth. It's jittering like a hologram. It looks like it's laughing at me. I let out this internal scream because I can't actually move anything or make any noise. I see substance floating from my chest to its mouth. The laughing from this thing continues. Oh shit. I wake up. I know that what I've experienced is real. I do research. I find sleep paralysis. First image is exactly what I saw. Oh crap. I am now more spiritual. Fast forward about 3 years. I have been with the same girl. We move into this new apartment together. This apartment was built in 1875. It was built with wood supplied by an extreme Christian sect who abhors sex. It has a history of housing characters. These characters, they were alive in the 1980s. One of them beat his wife. One of them accidentally killed someone in a DUI. The person who did that died alone, filled with regret, and is apparently said to haunt the premise. So it's 2016 now. I'm just laying in bed. I think, oh shit, I think I just heard the door close, but my GF says you're just paranoid. I drop a voice recorder in the kitchen the next night. I set it to record all night. I'm thinking it will be fun because ghosts. I'm hoping to catch something spooky. I wake up the next day. I analyze the recording. Oh crap. There is literally hours of fast footsteps and doors shaking and closing. I am spooked beyond belief. I decide that this isn't really fun anymore. I'm done with this. Fast forward around 2 months later. I have this insane dream about the same creature that I saw years ago. It's in our new bedroom, hovering over my girlfriend. I can't move, but I'm trying to desperately. Her psychic entity fights it off. I realize this thing is a huge pussy. I wake up the next morning. My GF asks me, "Did you move my necklace in the middle of the night?" I'm like, "No, why?" She says that she could not find it. Around 10 minutes later, my girlfriend comes in crying. Her necklace was in the washing machine. It's now broken and in 3 pieces. It has her initials on it. Oh shit. Fast forward around 2 days. I come home for dinner. There are 3 mice dead in the sink. Okay, nice, that's normal. I'm freaked out, but where else can we go? I begin to make dinner. There is this cross that hangs above the door. The cross falls off the door by itself. I call a priest. He says he can come tomorrow and talks us down. Fast forward to after the blessing. I am making dinner again, just some beef stew. I am on the porch eating my beef stew. The door to the bedroom slams shut by itself. The cross once again falls. It breaks this time. It snaps in half. The pen from the rack falls at the same time. I somehow get to sleep that night. I buy crystals and sage the very next day. I do literally every religion and culture's method of getting rid of spirits. It has been silent ever since. At the time that this happened, I was a high school senior. My girlfriend and I have hatched a plan to have sex. We rent a night in a hotel that is situated on a shitty marsh, affectionately referred to as a lake. The sign just says in big red letters off-center. When we arrive, being sneaky to cover our movements from both of our houses to the hotel, there is an obese man named some clown name like Bondo or something. We check in, and I notice how all of the furniture is mismatched with different styles and shifted out of place all over, but Bondo does not seem to care. The hotel has perpetually dimmer and dimmer lighting, and the staff seem to all like staring and smoking. Everybody, except the person that gave us our room key, seemed to be doing it. In our room, we find the new name of the hotel written on tape put over everything: the phone, clothes hangers, even the soap. Nothing else eerie happens until a while into the night while we are having sex. Now, deep into the night, post-sex, watching Murder, She Wrote, I am enraptured in the deep characters presented in the series. I started hearing a persistent shifting through the walls on either side of our room, like the guests next door are tossing and turning over in bed. Eventually it stops. My girlfriend had fallen asleep, so I dipped out to walk around and inspect the room. Murder, She Wrote is still unmuted. I love doing just useless detectiving around places I have not been, kind of fun. I found the safe in the closet had been unlocked, but there was a decorative spoon inside. For a moment, I cry, thinking of the owner, distraught that they had lost their prized spoon. By the time I had made it through most of the room, the rolling started, but real slow. It would stop occasionally. It isn't the scary part. It was just weird how terrible these people were sleeping and how much noise they were making. After laying back down, I sat awake, listening for about half an hour until I heard knocking down the hall. I get excited. Something is going down. It's 1 a.m. and it's a sharp knock. I stay completely still, but the fellow knocking knocks really hard for about 5 to 10 seconds and then moves around. It's hard to tell, but I think he's moving around the hall, knocking on different doors back and forth down the line. The knocking sound stopped after it sounded like this drunk asshole fell down onto the floor. You could hear him sliding his body along the floor. I got up, bad idea, and moved towards the door. I gaze through the viewfinder and see a man covered in some sort of paint, but it's probably not. It's a putrid yellow color, like the dude got vomited on by a garbage pail kid. I can't see his face. I live in a small town, so I thought I would recognize him. He's rubbing the shit on the floor of the hallway. I'm thinking, holy shit, I gotta wake up my girlfriend. She has gotta see this. I move and rumble back to the bed. He obviously hears my rumble. He starts banging, probably hitting the floor and getting himself up. I stop in my tracks. I did not want to die that night. He stood up and is molesting the door. He is trying the handle. I am still butt naked from the sex part of the evening. I don't want to die as I was born. He starts howling in this weird way. It's like he's imitating a wolf, but he is also weeping at the same time. Sounded just like that yell from the suspense episode, The House in Cypress Canyon. The term inhuman is played out, but this was definitely a human, just not a regular human. I am crying out in my head for Bondo. That fat piece of shit was nowhere to be seen. The door stops banging. He keeps yelping and goes down the hall. My heart is going super fast, and I'm hoping this dude has moved on. I sit up, and my girlfriend is like on the verge of being awake. She is mumbling and asking me why I'm still up. I don't really know how to answer, so I just mumble something back. My eyes have been darting around. My mumbles deteriorate as I see he has gone around the building. He is walking up to the ground floor window. I'm done. I accept my fate. He had walked around the building. It had taken him a few minutes. It was dark in the room, except for Murder, She Wrote. When he got to the window, He did not bang or yell or whine or even touch the window. He just looked inside. He had his hands behind his back and was patiently looking around the room. The guy locked eyes with me for only a second, and I did not seem to faze him. It didn't seem like the same guy. I laid there silently for so long looking at him until I guess I couldn't any longer. I had fallen asleep looking at him. When I woke up, my girlfriend expressed her displeasure at her sleep. I slept horribly. How about you? I just smiled and continued packing up. You could hear vacuuming and scrubbing going on outside for the hour it took us to take showers and pack up. We opened up the door and exited past a couple of smoking maids cleaning up the shit this guy left. I hoped I'd dreamed it. I didn't ask Bondo what it was because I'm too awkward. I never speak of it ever again. I never got any context on what happened. Hands down the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. I've got a story that an acquaintance told me involving a research trip in Brazil. I didn't know the guy very well at the time, so I can't vouch for his trustworthiness, but he definitely seemed shaken up by what he told me. I will tell it from his point of view. At the time, I was a 23-year-old ecology student. I get the opportunity to study abroad, field work in Brazil. We would be camping in the Amazon for 2 nights, staying in every night with a small tribe that the university occasionally worked with, then camping 1 more night on the way out. It took a day to get out there by ferry. When we finished, we returned to the university and finished up our research there for a total of 2 weeks worth of work. The boat trip into the Amazon was fun. Drinking and dancing. Almost got my dick wet from a Brazilian student, but decided against it. I have Colombian heritage, so I speak Spanish. I overhear the crew talking at one point. They are wondering nervously if they should turn around, but when they see me, they look all the way and stop talking. Next morning, we reach the place that we will be disembarking from. The first day of hiking was difficult but incredible. So much plant and animal life. It was a budding ecologist's wet dream. As the sun began to set, I remember hearing what sounded like an elephant trumpeting from very far away. Suddenly, there are guns in the crew's hands, but no one will tell us what's going on. We hike until it's dark and then make camp. Most people sleep in E&Os provided by the university. The rest of the crew sleeps on pads on the ground with guns. I hear the same trumpeting sound as before in the middle of the night, only this time it's much closer, maybe only a mile away. From inside the E&O, I hear the crew outside talking. It's Portuguese, so I can hardly understand a word. They say the word Mapinguari more than once. Eventually, I fall asleep. I wake up and some of the crew is gone. Turns out that they went on ahead because a tree had fallen somewhere up the trail and had to be cut up to clear the way for gear porters. We eventually reached the village, which is abuzz with activity. These men, some in shorts, others in native clothes, have spears and bows and they are walking around. It turns out there was an animal attack the night before, and a little girl was killed by what was likely a jaguar. That's a damn shame. There is a small funeral for the girl, in both Christian and native style. I hear more Mapinguari. I ask the head professor what that means. Apparently, it's some forest spirit or animal that is usually docile, but very dangerous if it perceives a threat, kind of like a rhino. Some natives and guides think it was responsible for the girl's death. Yeah, right, superstitious heathens. I hear this odd sound all throughout the first day at different distances and positions. The natives are really wigged out. All of them head inside before dark instead of partying as planned. I, however, go for a walk around the village. I notice that along one side of it, they have a small crop of corn and other things set up, kind of like an offering, I guess. The whole entire scene is just like something out of a storybook. There is a beautiful night sky, quaint jungle village, nice little farm. Huge hairy thing eating the corn. Wait, what? There is a quadruped standing on its hind legs. It is using its claws to cut off the ears of corn and is just eating them whole. It has a head like a cross between a bear and a horse or something like that. I try to back away quietly while this thing is distracted by eating, but I trip and fall on a rock while moving. As I fall and slam into the ground, the thing snaps its head around and just looks at me. After about a minute of just staring deep into my soul, it lets out an ungodly bellow and fucks off into the jungle. I promptly get my ass up and run all the way to my assigned hut. The next morning, the villagers are freaking out, saying it was a Mapinguari again. The crew and students decide that things are getting a little too weird and leave a day earlier than normal rather than risk an animal attack. The rest of the way back to the boat is relatively uneventful. There was no sign of the beast on the way back, but we kept hearing that strange trumpeting sound in the distance. Pick related. I am fairly convinced it was a gorp.